On a beautiful Thursday, October 10th, 2024, McDonald's announced the Chicken Big Mac. 4 days after the drop, I got my hands on one. This was the best thing I've ever eaten. Its taste was immaculate, making it the best creation a fast food industry has ever made. And, unfortunately, oh, excuse me, sorry. Okay. But unfortunately, sometimes, okay, excuse me. But unfortunately, good things don't always last, and on November 14, McDonald's discontinued it. And as much as I may desire for Big Mac chicken now, it's gone, and there's so much I can control. Now, this had me thinking, we can all control our lives as much as sometimes it may feel like it controls us. I do agree, many times things can be out of our control. But then again, there is so much that we can do for ourselves because within every choice we make, whether it's big or small, we get to do what we want. Now, this had me thinking, our past and current experiences, they all help shape who we are, determining whether encourage or discourage such decisions being made. And sometimes our decisions can be based on our influences. Majority of the time, our biggest influence tends to be based on our relative, friends, social media, and even our self-conception. And as I matured throughout the years, I've noticed that majority of the time, humans tend to really be self-centered, only focusing on what others think or have to say about us. But then again, when you really think about it, it ruins the ability to even breathe without having the constant need for validation. Now, I'm sure most of you have felt like this at some point where you have to do something in order to impress someone else, right? But then again, it really depends on whether it's academically, athletically, talent-wise, appearance-wise. There's always been a need to fulfill someone else's desires. So why as humans do we feel this? We tend to want to be seen in a positive light by others and getting their approval as it makes you feel better and reassures you and brings you confidence, right? But then again, it's just not right. But this only leads to a constant cycle for a need of control and recognition. This cycle can become intoxicating because as it becomes a generational thing for kids growing up, they see that their parents want high expectations from them. And this may cause a competition based on what child has the most achievements, whether it's who's the smartest, most athletic, and ultimately the big one, who makes it successfully in life. This reminds me of survival of the fittest. As everyone's put in the same environment, you're all fighting for the same thing, which is to survive. And there is an ideology that if you perform well in school, then in the end of it, you will successfully make it in life. And as this is partially correct, it adds so much pressure onto kids as they pursue their education. About 86% of parents said that they pressure their kids because they want to be more attentive than their distant parents had been. But then again, every generation had a different parenting style. In the 80s and 90s, it was more ideal for parents to be seen as authoritative, as there was more discipline, obedience, and on top of that, there were stricter punishments among the kids. And in that time period, things were normalized, which to this day can be seen as controversial. Now, in 2025, it's more common to see more of a soft and gentle parenting, as it's been more acceptable and awareness on mental health, right? But then again, some things now are starting to come out to the world, and that it shouldn't be as normalized, and instead, it should be spoken out about. But one thing stays the same regardless of what generation you may come from, and it's that there has always been a constant need for adolescents to want to reach their parents' academic expectations. For many families, this may become a generational trauma cycle as every generation expects their kids to grow up better from how they grew up or keep the same expectations going. For example, if your parent is working in a high-ranking profession, it's more likely that they want to pursue the same education or follow the same path. Similarly, if your parent grew up not in a working profession as high or as, well, making money, well, it's most likely they will want you to be the one to succeed in your family and pursue higher education and career, right? But then when you really think about it, many times this pressure forces adolescents to do things that they don't want to do with their lives, and it limits how much they can control. Around 43% of adults report that they have outlived their dreams, and about that, only 6% have achieved their life goals. Now, this percentage should be much higher because as adolescents, we should have the ability to outlive our dreams and goals, not live under the pressure to want to do something with the constant control of what we can and cannot do. Yet, we can control our feelings and our abilities to do what we want. You don't always have to live in this fear of feeling that you have to do what others want and to validate what others want from you, right? So now you can control what you want to do with your life. And you can accomplish your own goals based on what your heart desires. Now, as the audience, have you felt the pressure to be someone that you're not? Now, I know I have, okay? As I go through the college applications, there's so much stress where to go, where my parents and friends want me to go. And among all of that, I need to know what I want to do for the rest of my life. Now, how could you expect a 17-year-old to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives? Yet, the past 4 years of pushing myself for hard, dedicated work, joining clubs, being involved in my community, working 2 part-time jobs, and on top of that, I have to write a 650-word essay and 1 paper just to determine whether or not I am accepted or rejected from 10 to possibly 20 schools is just way too much. And then on top of that, I'm competing with 6.7 million other students on the one and only Common app. And, there is something that is everyone in common who's, applying to schools, and it's that we all have the persistence to want to achieve something and continue our education. Yet, how many of those 6.7 million students will actually do what they desire and what they want to do in their lives? Now, the pressure only increases as I'm expected to know what I want to do with my life. Meanwhile, I'm still unwrapping the present and reflecting the past and planning my future. Now, when I think about it, maybe it was a best idea that the chicken Big Mac has been discontinued, because now I can either go to Wendy's for the $5 Biggie Bag deal, or I can try the new place in Carl Place called Dave's Hot Chicken, right? But listen, the options are unlimited, and I know I have the control to go where I want. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My name is Aisha Mendez, and have a good night.